That music's brilliant. It's really, really dramatic. It gets me every time.
I like the way it's like a superhero music, but then goes into like the Oompa Loompas are about to do a song. It's brilliant.
When I was looking up music for the podcast, I literally wanted it. It would have been perfect if it ended with that would have been brilliant.
A slide trombone would have been a thing of beauty. Just there's not enough slide trombone in modern culture, I find. Can you imagine if like all the news channels, whenever you got an app through, like a notification, instead of it dinging it, if it just went, it would be brilliant.
We've got another notification. Yeah. Have you ever seen that YouTube clip? Sorry, are we allowed to say YouTube, or do I have to say? Because we do put this out on YouTube, so.
Yeah, I would say that they are a partner, so we are allowed to say their name.
Okay, that YouTube clip of the two guys on the motorbike going on the street going.
So I haven't seen that one. I will go and look it up. Please also look up Fat Man followed by Tuba. There's just a guy that follows overweight people in America around going bob 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 bob, and it's brilliant. It is absolutely brilliant.
That's a little bit like the music of Fantasia.
Yes, yeah. That's where Walt Disney got all of his ideas from. He just followed people with visual disabilities around, and so Fantasia was inspired by a large man eating a turkey leg.
Allegedly.
Yeah.
Hey, Greg Davies, I'm really excited. I've got a gift. Not for you, it's a gift for me.
Oh, I thought we were going to do the magic of no way.
Drumstick chocolate. I'm going to open it now. Claire Robinson went out and got a drumstick chocolate from
Claire Robinson, the long lost daughter of Anne Robinson, who would lose
she's still upset about that fight. Yeah, she's still upset.
She would be. Claire, where's mine? So Russ is now opening the drumstick chocolate. Come on, tell me what you think.
Looks a bit like a Fry's Delight.
Yes, it does. It has got that kind of moussey structure in the middle. So
it's going in.
Go on, mate, do it. I'm actually really jealous. I love the stuff. It changed my life.
It's got a bit of crunch in there as well.
It has. For me, it's like the best kind of raspberry dessert you'll ever find. Oh, Russ is looking quizzical.
I'll tell you what. It's quite a visual section of the show, this.
It really is.
It's a little bit sensual watching me eat chocolate.
Well, we could do that as our follow-up series to Men with Beards Who Eat Pastry. We could just have men with beards who seductively eat chocolate bars. As I said, if it turns you on, there's a website somewhere. What do you think?
Yeah, I like it. I preferred the ruffle.
Yeah, but the ruffle's got coconut in. And you can't beat the nut.
Yeah, I mean, listen, thank you very much, Claire Robinson. I'm a little bit underwhelmed.
Claire, next time send it directly to me. I will not just be whelmed, I will be overwhelmed with your gift.
I'll tell you what I was thinking about earlier on. I was thinking with you with your black t-shirt on your beard, you look like Greg Davies from the Night's Watch, but because you're a little bit fun, you could be Night's Watch Hopscotch.
That would be my nickname. Hopscotch of the Night's Watch.
Yeah, and I'd be a wildling, clearly, with this beard, so...
You would be. You and I would strike up a friendship over a playground game that we would play just outside of the wall.
We'd be 1 minute we'd be fighting, next minute we'd be trying to get on number 2 and 3 together. Oosh.
And I would do the thing where I forget to turn around on one leg at the end, and you would go, "You know nothing, Greg Davies."
Oh, that's a good voice. You know nothing, Greg Davies.
I do try. Every now and then I pull out a good voice. So what you been up to, young Russ, other than stuffing your face with chocolate that I adore?
Yeah, and I'm indifferent to.
You know what I mean? What a wasted opportunity.
What have I been up to? Well, I've been wondering, right? I've been wondering, how did people play Kirby in Roman times?
Oh, that's a good idea because they didn't have the roads, did they? I reckon they had a ball with a built-in curb.
Right, hang on, I'll just write that down because that's answered me question. I was a bit worried about it. What have you been up to, Greg Davies?
Well, I've been wondering. I don't know why we had to say wondering 3 times. I'm just mirroring you.
Sounds like lyrics to a song. Are you writing a song there?
I would.
Wondering heights. Oh, it's me. I'm Kathy. I've come home now.
Oh, how high does she go in that song? It's crazy. Right,
second floor, mate. She goes to the second floor.
Does she? Yeah. The most underrated of the floors, I find.
Do you know why she goes to the second floor? Because she can hear a knocking at the window. Won't you let me in?
I've been wondering, what is the ingredient in Newcastle brown ale that makes it brown?
Mud.
Is it mud? Is it proper Tyne mud?
Yeah, it's mud from Segadendum, which is this place that's like where the wall, Hadrian's Wall, comes into Wall's End.
I was trying to research it, and while I didn't find that it was the mud that did it, I did find that it is the most exported ale and imported into the US. What an accolade!
They call it Newcastle. In America, they call it Newcastle.
That's impressive. I always used to end my night with a bottle of Newcastle brown ale.
Do you know the thing is, they break a lot of bottles. Do you know why?
Why?
It's really hoppy.
Me.
Hey, I've got some questions.
Oh, you beat me to it. Smack me up. I don't know why I said smack me up. It's a new one.
80s rap. So I've got a question, right? And my questions are quite serious this week, but you can take them however you want.
Okay, I often do.
First question is, Blockbuster or Woolworths?
Well, I used to work in Woolworths.
Oh.
I used to work in Woolworths, so I would have to be faithful to the Woolworths, if only because there was one room in every Woolworths stock room, which was a tiny room that had a combination lock on it.
Pick a mix room.
The pick a mix room. And it was like aerosol diabetes. You walked in and it was like the dream of every overweight child.
Did you get the sack because the manager walked in one day and he went, and you had a mouthful of like all the different fudges and toffees and chewing nuts and things?
I actually left Woolworths because the manager started cutting down my hours, because basically he thought I was a cheeky little turd, which he was right. And then I went to work for another great British institution, BHS. So
have you just?
Yeah, I know what you're going to say. No, I haven't worked for Debenhams. I'm sorry. So yeah, or CNA.
Hang on. Can we just edit that? I'll just say, have you worked for Debenhams?
Debenhams. I really haven't. Okay, my question. So for me, it would be Woolworths. What would yours be?
Well, I think Blockbuster was ahead of its time, because what Blockbuster did was it killed the independent video shop.
Yeah.
It was really smug about it, like going, you only have one copy of that video. I've got a wall full of them. And then all of a sudden, Netflix came along and went, you've only got a wall full of them. We've got unlimited supply. So they shouldn't have been smug, really. But it's
the chairman of Blockbuster turned down by Netflix on 2 occasions. I love that story. Such a good story. Okay, my question, and you may have to do some explanation on this. How many times a day do you have a Parmo?
Just your standard 3 meals.
Yeah.
Breakfast, lunch, and dinner?
Because we don't get them. There is nowhere down here that I could go and order a Parmo. Can you explain what they are?
Yeah. So a Parmo is a chicken breast, hammered out, breadcrumbs, so it's like an escalope.
Oh, I love an escalope.
Yeah. And then what you do is you deep fat fry it.
Of course you do.
How else would you cook it?
You know what I mean?
Deep fat fry it, and then you take it out. And then what you do is you go, right, how can we make this a little bit more unhealthy? And you smear a really thick layer of bechamel all over the top.
Right.
And then you put really strong, rich cheddar grated on the top, and then whack it under a grill.
So, so, so deep fried chicken,
Yeah,
creamy white sauce,
yeah,
and cheese.
yeah.
Have I seen bolognese sauce on them at any point, or is that?
We have a place near us called the Ship at Red Marshall, right? And they do 38 different varieties.
No, they don't.
They do a breakfast parmo that has black pudding on it, sausage, bacon. It has a fried egg on the top. I mean, that's a step too far for me. I'm a purist. But the furthest essentially is a hot shot.
What you've done is you've reinvented the pizza by replacing the base with breaded chicken.
Yeah. So true story, right? True story. The Teessider went to Germany, and they were looking down the menu, and they went, "Oh, look, see that chicken schnitzel there? Could you put a bit of cheese on the top and stick and made his own little parmo?"
Impressive.
Chicken schnitzel.
Impressive. Right. Okay. Well, that was my question. I'm glad you've cleared that up. Do you have a different parmo each meal of the day? Do you have a breakfast and lunch and a dinner parmo, or are you purist all the way?
No. What I do is I have like a normal parmo for breakfast, and then I have like, well, actually, it's a bit chicken and egg because the breakfast parmo is your parmo left over from the night before. You always leave a little bit just for your breakfast.
Gotcha. Yeah.
And then the lunchtime one is like a normal parmo. And the evening one, you have a hot shot, don't you? It's an evening.
Nice. What's a hot shot?
What's a hot shot? No, a good spot. It's a hot shot parmo is like a normal parmo, but mixed in with the cheese. You've got chorizo. You've got jalapeno. You've got red chilies and all like hot stuff.
Nice. Love it. Okay. You've answered my question perfectly. What's your next one?
My next one is, you Saturday evening, you're thinking, can I be bothered to cook? What am I going to do? I'll have a takeaway. What's your go-to takeaway, Greg Davies?
Well, it's got to be a Chinese for me.
And what would you get from the Chinese?
So I enjoy a vermicelli Singapore-style noodles. So the thin noodles.
Like the rice noodles.
Yeah, with the curry spice and all the little bits in it. I like added value, so you have the little bits in it. Being a relatively large man, I do like a deep fried ball. So normally a pork ball with radioactive sweet and sour sauce. But yeah, and you, what would you go for? What would you go?
I'm just a little bit concerned by your statement when you said you're a relatively large man, because neither of us are vertically that.
Oh no. I meant on the horizontal axis.
Morbidly obese.
Yeah, that's what I meant. Yeah.
My favorite. Well, I like an Indian. Me.
Yeah. See, it's a very close one because whilst you can cook a pizza at home, you can do burgers and stuff. You're never going to get to the level of Indian or Chinese cuisine from home. So it is close, but Chinese tends to get it. So what's your go-to Indian?
Well, I would be one of two. I'd either go lamb madras, but instead of rice, I'd have 2 chapatis.
Nice.
Yeah. Or I'd go chicken tikka masala with rice, but I'd have chili rice to give it that oof.
Oh, I like it. And what bread? What bread? This is a big one for me. What bread? What naan?
Well, we only have sliced white in the northeast.
No, you don't. You have mighty white as well, where they try to force vitamins down your neck.
50-50. A Hovis 50-50, please. Well, you see, I wouldn't normally go for a naan bread, but if I did, I'd go for a garlic naan, I think.
Yeah, garlic naan's good. I like a cheese naan.
You say naan, do you? Naan.
Naan. Yeah, I think I do. You say nan, do you?
Naan.
It just brings too many memories.
Like the corner of your mind.
You know what I mean? A garlic nan is like that time where my nan used a bulb of garlic instead of a clove of garlic in spaghetti bolognese. She was a garlic nan for a long time.
I bet she was. I bet you smelt her coming.
Yeah. Well,
did it overpower the smell of lavender?
No. Mothballs and lavender were entwined with garlic. It was a thing of beauty.
Ordinary.
It was difficult for the Italian moths. They didn't know whether to run away or be attracted.
Oh,
So they just rotated around a light bulb, which, you know, wasn't much of a change, to be fair.
are you ready for your third question?
Is it? No, it's my question to you.
Was it your question?
Yeah. Okay. So if you had to pick one, and you could only pick one to be king of Northeast, would it be Paul Gascoigne or Cheryl Tweedy?
Right. So this is difficult for me because you could have picked all sorts of Teessiders, couldn't you? But you've picked a Geordie and a Geordie Mackem hybrid. So, like Cheryl Tweedy's from South Shields, so she's kind of 50-50 whether she's a Mackem or a Geordie. And Gaz is definitely a Geordie. But the thing is, any man, right, that can score the goal he scored against Colin Hendry in Scotland, any man who can get a big money move to a Chinese team and then get his mate over and fish in the pond at the front of the hotel. Any man who can turn up in Rothbury when there's a serial killer on the loose
with sandwiches,
a chicken, a fishing rod, and a dressing gown. It's got to be Gaza.
It's got to be Gaza, isn't it? I mean, let's be honest, he'd be a strong contender for King of the UK. He really would.
Yeah, but only if it's Gaza in his prime.
No, I quite like a slightly unhinged Gaza.
Oh, he's a shadow, man. He's a shadow of his former self.
As in, he supports Cliff Richards.
He's the shadow, man. He's just this crazy step over thing.
He can't. He's been in the same spot for so long because he just keeps going sideways.
Everybody thought he had Parkinson's. He hasn't. He's just dancing.
Really, he's just dancing. Okay, what's your last question?
What's your favourite comedy double act?
Oh, that's a really good. Do you know what?
Good questions this week, aren't they?
Really good. As a child, I used to. As a young man, I used to absolutely adore Hale and Pace. It was the whole bouncer sketch for me, but a very close second and one that has now continued into grown-up life is Enfield and Whitehouse.
Enfield and Whitehouse. So you're talking from the fast show onwards, really, aren't you?
Yeah, Harry Enfield and Chums. The original Harry Enfield, right the way through to his latter stuff, and
Bish Bash Wallop Dosh.
Loads of money, and market traders. They invented the Teletubbies as a sketch of these aliens coming with TVs in their stomachs and aerials on their head.
I remember that. Yeah,
just brilliant. Okay, so what would be yours?
It's only one, isn't there? Really?
Ant and Dec.
Chuckle Brothers. No, it's not. It's not. It's Vic and Bob. Vic Reeves, Bob Mortimer.
Yeah.
I mean, Bob's from Middlesbrough. Vic Reeves was from Darlington. Their Teesside lads done good.
Yeah, they're very good. I love the fact that Bob was he was a doctor, wasn't he? Oh no, he was a solicitor.
He's had he was a solicitor. I don't think he was a solicitor for very long, but to be fair, he's also been a bin man. So
okay, so he had a varied career, did he?
He did have a varied career, and I'm going to put it out there and say I think he's the funniest out of the two. Just put it out there.
I would agree with that.
And he's now, it's a lovely way to end this section because he now does a really good fishing show. Oh yeah, I forgot. Yeah, whatever. He's got a fishing show with Paul Whitehouse, hasn't he? So
yes, he has. Yeah. And it is very good. Okay, right. So my final question.
Do your worst for your final question.
So am I right in saying Newcastle's home kit is black and white?
Yeah.
And Middlesbrough's home kit is red and white?
Yeah.
What happens when you scan them with a barcode reader?
Well, Newcastle's,
and you must get a reading from Middlesbrough as well.
No, because ours is like a solid red with a white band. Sunderland have like a
Sunderland, that's it. So they have the line. So what happens when you scan those two? What do you get?
Arrested? Just get arrested.
There's no products that come up.
Yeah, there is, but they're a bit embarrassed about it.
Go on, what is it?
Hygiene products, mate.
No, not feminine hygiene products.
Unfortunately, it is.
That's a real shame. Okay,
they haven't thought it through. It was a big mistake by the manufacturers of the kit. Allegedly, to the best of
allegedly.
my knowledge. Yeah.
It's let's go back to your lovely end. Quickly say it again before someone gets this.
Paul Whitehouse and Bob Morton have done a lovely show about fishing.
That is a beautiful way to end this section in a totally unique and never done before way.
Anyway, so we've got a few different things we can do next, Greg. I'll let you
What
choose.
can
We can either have business names.
Business names, they'll make you money like a fat bloke who's not very funny.
You on about me?
I'm talking about me.
Well, we might as well do business names then.
Let's do business names.
So you've done the soundtrack. So there's two business names that I've got to pitch to you today as business names that are the most amusing business names I've seen in the last week.
Love it.
One of them is a hairdresser's in Eaglescliff near where we live called Trim Fady.
Oh, that's really good.
I'm absolutely dying to run into the shop and go, will the real Trim Fady please stand up? And these blokes are getting like the haircut, like, whoa, what's going on?
See, the thing is, it's not just, that's a double pun. So trimming, obviously, that's either, but fadey, skin fade. I
Genius.
really like that. Yeah, I would go there. Despite the pictures on the wall, which are always taken from 1980s magazines, I would definitely go there.
The pictures of like the woman playing tennis and just hitching up the back of her skirt as she looks around like that.
Yeah, the most sold picture. Well, actually, there were two. Do you remember Athena, which I didn't work in? That isn't why they went out.
You want about that picture where he's holding the baby?
Yeah. So they were the two highest sellers. The lady hitching up her skirt and the good-looking man holding the baby.
Did you know? Here's a fact for you. I was that baby.
No, I thought you were that man.
I was trying to show off to make friends.
Well,
I was neither.
I'm going to take your Trim Fady and I will raise you, curl up and die, spelled D-Y-E.
Curl up, as in rollers.
And dye, D-Y-E, dye your hair.
That is brilliant, that isn't it? So this is the hairdresser's special.
Okay, so what's your next one?
I've got scone in 60 seconds.
Oh, I love that.
Scone in 60 seconds.
However,
it does link very neatly to the north-south divide section. Because how would you pronounce the name of that shop, Greg?
And see, I say scone. However, because I've looked into this.
What?
It's not a north-south divide. It's so people who said scone in 60 seconds, they wouldn't understand it at all. They'd be like,
Wouldn't
what?
make any sense.
Are they small? Do I eat them quickly? Apparently it's not a north-south divide. It's a class thing.
So does that mean we're common?
No, I think that we do it like the aristocracy do.
Scone.
Because the Queen says scone.
No, she doesn't.
She says scone.
And the irony is that the band Queen say scone. So who's right?
They do. The remaining members.
Well, I tell you what though, just jumping back to things that nobody knows about me. I was Fred Savage in the Wonder Years.
Did you do your own voiceover?
I did.
That's what I've always wondered.
I did.
Because the voiceover was very different to the actor's voice.
It was like watching Monkey Magic in the 80s.
Wasn't it?
Yeah.
Well, the really good dubbing.
Hello, how are you? Stay.
Yeah, don't you love it where it was like, what are you doing here? And then the guy would start talking and then 4 seconds later, he just went, I don't know. It was like, that's not what he said. There was much more lip movement there.
Well, talking about 80s comedy, I know it's a business podcast. Do you know the story of why MASH, and do you know how MASH, as in 4077, MASH, the comedy show with Alan Alda et al., was different in the UK to America? Do you know?
No, I don't. I know it started off as an Oscar-winning movie and then went into a series, but I don't know why it was different. Why was it different?
When they showed the pilot in the UK, they messed up on the sound and they didn't play the canned laughter.
Right.
Which is why in the UK, if you watch MASH on the UK version, there's never any canned laughter. And for the British audience, it was hilarious for us because we were one step ahead on the jokes. And once they tried it where they put the canned laughter on, and the British audience didn't like it because they didn't like being told where to laugh. True story.
Love it. Love it. Yeah, they say it was an accident. They just knew that the Brits have a better sense of humour.
Standard. But this is an international podcast, so we have to say allegedly.
Allegedly.
Why don't we do the news?
Has there been any news, Russ?
There's been two big bits of business news for me, Greg, but I am the man that you know from a previous podcast that I have Robert Peston, right, Nevin Davies riding around on a chopper looking for news stories for me.
I do know that.
And they phoned me up earlier on. I haven't got me. Hang on. Just put my news glasses on. So
go on, put them on.
I look very good.
Oh, they look amazing.
So, right, the first story I'd like to.
Oh yeah, you've done the shuffle.
The first news story I've got today is El Salvador, the Central American Republic, is about to change their national currency to Bitcoin. First ever country that's going to change the currency to Bitcoin. And what I find fascinating with this, Greg Davies, is when you get a note, like a bank note, and in the UK we have our Queen's head on it.
Yeah.
It has written on it promissory note. Okay. Yep. So promissory note is it's a promise to give the bearer the value of £20, and that guarantee is backed by the monarch. Bitcoin isn't a promise, it's an instant transfer of money.
Yep.
So is El Salvador, by definition, the most innovative country in the world or the least trusting republic in the world?
Well, I know it's one of the poorest countries in the world. I know that much. And what concerns me is if they're going to start taking Bitcoin and Bitcoin fluctuates so massively, one day it'll be like, I've got 1/100th of a Bitcoin. Brilliant. You can buy this car. And then it'll be like, I've got 1/100th of a Bitcoin. You can buy this loaf of bread. You know, it's going to be how confusing. What's my pocket money this week, Dad? Well, it's 1/1,000,000th of a Bitcoin because there's been a bit of a run on it. So how are they going to do any kind of stable exchange rate for the rest of the world?
Oh. I'll have to get Evan Davies onto this.
I just El Salvador. I just see it as a Mexican bandit's name. I just do.
Allegedly. So, well, that's that news item. It didn't go down that well. Let me try this one, right? Because I've got another news item.
Love it.
Supersonic jets with passengers on are going to return to the air for the first time in 20 years since the last flight of Concorde.
I remember watching the last flights of Concorde where they were stacking them up on the approach. And they were like, so when they came into Heathrow, there was already 3 or 4 behind them that you could see. You could see it all coming. I always remember standing in my nan's garden in Camberwell in southeast London, and it was an event when Concorde flew over.
This is your garlic nan?
This is garlic nan, yeah.
Garlic nan, yeah.
So it was really an event when Concorde flew over. I hope we get back to that again.
But when you think about Concorde, it launched in the 60s, didn't it, I believe? Was it the 60s? And it was so far ahead of its time. This was a passenger jet that broke the sound barrier. You could get to New York, and was it about 4 hours or something from London?
Yeah.
It was crazy. But it was crazy expensive as well, wasn't it? And even then, it was subsidized by the French and British governments because it wasn't profit making, which is why so was Concorde not very good, and that's why they got rid of it. A really bad business idea, that's why they got rid of it. Looks stupid, that's why they got rid of it. In which case, why have we waited 20 years to bring something back? Was it just that far ahead of its time?
Yeah, I think it was so there was a big period of being the first to do something, wasn't there? So, you know, first
Yeah.
like first man in space, first man on the moon. There was all these speed records.
Allegedly, first man on the moon, allegedly.
Allegedly, first man on the moon. Remember, it was Louis Armstrong.
He was.
So,
welcome to the moon.
then we hit a period where it then became like mass transit, and people wanted the cheapest way of doing things. So it kind of fell off. And now what I think we've got is people want their time. So now is the time. If they can get the value and the time proposition right, I think now's the time. The technology's there now where it wasn't before, to make it kind of affordable for the majority of people.
Yeah.
I think now's the time for supersonic flight. Whereas Concorde, it was a showpiece, wasn't it?
It was a showpiece. And I think...
But never use it as a cod piece.
It'd be ridiculous. It's far too phallic.
It's too pointy. You would have to, just
with a slight bend.
I know, right? Yeah.
But that was a nose cone, wasn't it? That used to straighten up. Oof.
It did. So if it would, it could work as a cod piece, I suppose, if it's straightened up.
It's actually quite a clever cod piece.
Yeah. Business ideas.
You see, for people of our age, which is clearly late 20s,
born in the late 20s, that's right. Yeah.
All just late 20s hipsters. We're quite nostalgic about Concorde. But if you were talking to somebody maybe who's in their 18, 19, late teens, early 20s, they'd be like, imagine, it'd be like that bit on, do you know Planet of the Apes, the original film?
Yep.
Where Charlton Heston's walking along the beach at the end, and he walks on the corner, and he sees the top of the Statue of Liberty sticking out the sand.
And he does the, damn you!
What have you done?
Yeah.
Yeah. Some like hipster, like late teens, early 20s might see that jet up in the air and then go to a museum and read about Concorde and go, damn you, what have you done?
Well, Greta Thunberg would be there next to the exhibition going, how dare you? You have robbed me. You know, she would just be playing on loop next to the Concorde exhibit.
She'd be playing on a lute?
She'd be playing on a lute. It'd be very good. She would be a traveling...
Hey, nonny, nonny.
Yeah, she'd be a traveling minstrel. You know, crispy shell, chocolate inside.
Love a minstrel. They don't melt in your pockets, but you do get some of the colouring on your hands.
You really do, yeah. Good business news. I like that. I'm excited. What are the two companies putting them in? So, who have we got?
Can I be honest with you?
You didn't read that far, did you?
I just saw the headline. I thought that'll do it. Greg won't go any deeper.
Should we make it up? The two companies, supersonic flight.
You pick one. I'll pick the other one.
Greg's the baker.
And Haribo.
Oh, sweet. Lovely.
Okay, I'm going to go now to a new feature, Greg, and I'm quite excited about this.
I'm nervous.
Unused words that you don't hear every day. They've either gone out of fashion or they never should have been in fashion to start with.
I've got one. You go first, but I've got one which I found out the other day is a real word, and we just don't use it enough.
Well, I heard somebody who lives in Florida say this one earlier on today, and they used it in an everyday sentence.
Right, so just dropped it in like everyone uses it.
Yeah, as if like it's a normal thing.
Go on.
And it was on a business call, and you saw everybody like look up, like, what? What did he just say? What's that mean? Shall I tell you what the word is?
Please do.
Dang. D-A-N-G. Dang.
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 Okay, was it there's dang and then there's like dang it? So was it was dang.
It was dang.
Oh.
Dang.
Well, where does that even come from?
Dang.
So I've just got that as a bit of almost an expletive. Like you'd say damn or crap or something like that. Well,
So it started off life as an expletive. In 1791, it was in a poem, and it was an alternative word, almost a a word that means something else, but suggests
That's easy for you to say.
something. It was a euphemism.
Yeah.
And it was used as a euphemism, as a made-up word. And Shakespeare used to do that a lot. This wasn't Shakespeare. He made up lots of words to try and conjure up your thought process of, without using a naughty word.
Yeah.
And so that's how dang was born. And then it was picked up in like the Wild West in America.
Yeah.
Dang it. Dang. It's the kind of thing I imagine that you will have heard Wile E. Coyote shouting as
his Acme anvil bounces off of a rubber band and lands on his head instead of the Roadrunners.
And he looks at the camera and goes, dang.
Or holds up a little sign that says dang and then goes me as he waves goodbye. Yeah,
so that's an unused word. But if you've got an unused word, I'll leave yours as well.
Okay. I just want to see the reaction on your face. My word is overmorrow. And it means the day after tomorrow. Russ, when are we releasing this podcast? Overmorrow.
Overmorrow?
Apparently it's always been there. I mean, we say yesterday, we say tomorrow, but then we substitute the day after tomorrow. Why aren't we using overmorrow?
Or Wednesday?
Well, Wednesday wouldn't always work. Wednesday would work today, but not tomorrow. And it certainly wouldn't work overmorrow. You see?
Change the day. I think it's a redundant word. I think that is the problem there, isn't it?
Is it because no one expects to live past tomorrow now?
What do you think it is? A Tom Cruise film where you just relive every day?
That would be the worst title ever. Hey, Tom, we're going to let you name this one. I'm going to name it No One Expects to Live After Tomorrow Now. Tom,
try again. Pick another title.
Hang on. I'm running whilst doing my own stunts.
Yeah.
He's always running.
I'm jumping out of this window. Tom, come back. Hang on, I'm riding a motorbike without a helmet on. He must be a nightmare for the insurance people.
Tom, we're in KFC. Stop jumping out of windows.
Backwards.
What sides do you want with that? Oh, he's gone. Just get him the barbecue beans.
Five Guys. What are you doing over the counter? Get your head out of the deep fat fryer.
Yeah, it's certainly something that we should look at more. Tom Cruise in everyday life.
I think that should be a new section. Tom Cruise in everyday life.
That'd be brilliant, wouldn't it? We're always running. I reckon that Tom Cruise would run the wrong way down an airport travelator just to make it look like he was going super fast.
Well, like stupid fast. He doesn't like do a dad run like Peter Kay. He's like,
oh, he does. Lady hands. You know, like when you were a kid and you used to run with bladey hands because in your mind you thought it cut through the air quicker.
You know whose fault that was, don't you?
No.
Steve Austin, $6 Million Man.
Did he? Did he? What? Yeah, but I was going to say, he just used to have a sound going on, didn't he?
Just spat everywhere, by the way.
Well, so what was he? Was he 6 million or 6 billion?
6 billion, 6 million. Unless it's Bitcoin, and then he was a millionth of.
A millionth of. Yeah. The 6 billion then, yeah, you'd get a total rebuild. Now you might have your left ear done.
If you look, it depends on the day that the Bitcoin's at.
It really does.
So we've got 2 bits left to do, Greg Davies. We've got Russ's business ideas and who would win in the fight. And for me, they're my 2 favourite bits, and I've left them till the end. Which I'll let you choose which you go with first.
You absolutely excelled yourself with how would you win in a fight last time. So I would like to end on that. Okay. So tell me your business ideas.
Well, I'm going to spoil you this week with my business ideas because I've actually met a famous 80s and 90s pop star, and we've formed a group of companies. So you would be coming in as a third share on the business.
And will I know this 80s pop star? Will they be?
Yeah.
Go on.
Shabba ranks.
Shabba.
Shabba. I'm a lava man. Shabba. So it's called the Shabba Group, and I've got 6 companies, and we can go with some of them or all of them. Are you ready?
Please tell me that you are doing the markings of where public carriages pull up outside train stations. Shabba taxi ranks.
Kind of.
Okay, go on.
We do have a Shabba ranks, but it's an alternative to Which magazine, and basically Shabba ranks different items. So it can do white goods, it can do audio visual, it can do cars.
Does it only do it? Does his whole review, is it only ever one word shouted really loud? So it's like, okay, Shabba, what do you think of this hot tub? Just like that. He just shouts out bubbly really loud.
No, well, what he does is he ranks them, but the number one that he goes for in each category, he goes, I'm a lava man.
Nice.
Yeah, so, and then,
good accent as well. I'm glad that didn't sail close to the wind. That was really good. Okay, so what are the other ideas?
It's a loyalty scheme business where companies can go to him. These actually sound like good businesses that I am going to pitch to Shabba ranks. I mean, I've started good, and they're not as good towards the end, so I'm going with my bankers first, right?
Okay.
Which is Shabba Banks.
Shabba Banks.
Shabba Banks. I'll get that down. Shabba Banks.
Brilliant.
Shabba Banks. Yeah. So it's a loyalty scheme where if somebody spends a lot of money with you and you want to say thank you to them, Shabba thanks.
What? So you get a personal phone call or video message, and depending on how much you spend, allows you to customize it. So if you spend £1, you're just going to get him going. But if you spend like, because that's how he speaks, right? Just really quickly. Yeah. But if you spend like £1,000, it'd be your name as well, maybe. And then £1 million, it'll actually come to your house and do it like a singing telegram.
Yeah. Did Shabba ranks do Boombastic? Was that him?
No, that was Shaggy.
Oh, well, Shaggy, that makes sense, that, because I got a letter the other day and the writing didn't look right. It didn't look like Shabba's. And I think Shaggy's trying to get in on the deal.
Well, why wouldn't he? Why wouldn't he?
Yeah. No? So anyway, the next one, it's you don't see joke shops much anymore, do you?
No, you don't. Or maybe they're there. They're just behind invisible glasses.
Well, they're going to be there all right with Shabba pranks.
Oh, I love it. Oh, yeah. Itching powder, which basically gave you eczema. Oh, just why don't we have that anymore? Ice cubes with flies in them. You know?
Well, the next idea is probably the worst one. And we've got 3 left. We've got 3. We've got 3 left.
Let me be the judge of that.
Shabba cranks.
Okay, so is this Shabba coming around and starting your vintage car?
Yeah, it's a bit niche.
Is it him acting like an old man and just criticising everything?
Both. He criticises whilst he's cranking the car.
Oh, that's great. That's what you want on the London to Brighton Vintage Rally.
Oh,
yeah. Good. I mean, it's very seasonal. Very seasonal. However, I like it.
Well, hey, I tell you what, we're going to make a fortune with this group of companies with Shabba.
What's the group of company called?
The Shabba Group.
I think that needs work.
Does need work. I'll think while I'm going through the last 2.
Okay, go on. Go for the last 2.
The penultimate one, Shabba tanks.
Are we talking invasion or fish?
Fish.
He's
a lover man. You know what I mean? So
he's not that Shaggy again, Mr. Lover.
He's always in going, I'm a lover man. He's
Oh no, that is Shabba ranks. No, yeah. So I thought you were going, Mr. Lover. I love it.
No. I'm a lover man.
Okay.
So Shabba tanks, because he likes tropical fish. He's a big fan of tropical fish. He loves.
Where does he stand on marine?
Well, he's a big protector of the coral reefs.
Right.
And what I don't know if you know, but for a lot of the 90s, he paid Peter Andre to stand with his top off on a beach, stopping people getting into where the reefs were while he was harvesting the fish and snapping all the coral reef underneath the surface.
Did Peter Andre have enough banana breaks? He was a notorious consumer of bananas. He passed out once due to potassium poisoning.
Maybe it's a Greek Cypriot thing. I don't know.
Maybe it is. Well, he obviously did a rubbish job because the reefs are receding. So, who would you have had rather than Peter Andre?
Howard Donald out of Take That.
Yes. Now you wouldn't go near the Donald, would you?
Now, or J out of 5.
No, yeah, you wouldn't want to backhander off Jay. The
No.
rugged Jay. Yeah, okay, I love that. Right, what's the last one?
Right, so he loves pizzas. Right, he loves a pizza, and there's a chain that he got really bad service at, and eat as much as you can buffet, right? Where they just kept bringing out crusts and things. So he's starting a company called Shabba the Hut. So that's the last idea I've got.
So not only is it a pizza pun, it brings in another love of my life, which is a Star Wars and Spaceballs pun. Mate, I'm all over that. I feel like I'm just blessed and honoured that you decided to bring me in on ground floor. What I would say is be careful of Shaggy if you're going to let him in. He can be a little bombastic.
Well, do you know what? I confronted him as well, and I said, "Listen, stop sending these letters, pretending you're Shabba Ranks." And he said, "It wasn't me."
No.
He said, "You might have seen the letter as it laying on the table floor. It wasn't me." Like that.
I like that.
Fight time.
Fight time. Let's get ready to rumble.
See, when you say that, all I hear is, let's get ready, let's get ready, let's get ready to rumble.
You would. That is the anthem of your part of the world.
We all do the dance at school.
Yes, it's like religious education for you, isn't it?
Hyped up, psyched up. We know all of the words off by heart. It's some schools get you to say the Lord's Prayer.
Yeah.
We have to sing Let's Get Ready to Rumble.
I just feel it. I think it's a shame that anyone called Michael gets bullied following that, though, because you have to go out and wreck the mic.
I thought that was a reference to Michael row your boat ashore.
Nope, it was a reference to childhood bullying.
Let's go and wreck the mic.
Come on, give me the fights.
So, there's 2 brothers born 4 years apart.
Right.
The older brother was born in Edinburgh, and he went into journalism and presenting really chewy political satirical programs.
Okay.
The other one, the parents moved down to Manchester, and he was born in Manchester, and he learned to play guitar and fight with people and ended up in the Buzzcocks in the end. But they are the Marr brothers, Andrew and Johnny. And Andrew and Johnny have been fighting for years about what's better, political stuff or musical stuff. Political stuff, musical stuff, political stuff, punctured bicycle, musical stuff. So, who'd win the fight between Andrew Marr and his younger brother, Johnny Marr?
Right. Andrew Marr scares me a little bit.
He's a scary man.
He scares me a little bit because he's got the reach.
He's got those arms like Close Encounters of the Third Kind.
He really has. I mean, he reminds me of the Supergrass video. Can you hear it pumping on your stereo? When all their arms and their limbs get like it goes off that way, it goes around the back, and then it comes in that way because
he's like the Slender Man of TV.
He really is. He really is. And he's got, I mean, bless him, he's a good-looking fella, but he has got the Clunes ears going on. He's got the Martin Clunes ears. So you see, smart money would be on Johnny because he's street. He's street. He's had to put up with the Gallagher, an attack on his dominance. However, I'm going to have to say Andrew, because not only would he hear you coming, but he would have enough flexibility and dexterity in his limbs just to give you a clip around the ear hole. I'm going to go with Andrew.
Okay, that's interesting. Yeah.
What would you have gone with?
I'd have gone with Johnny Marr. Do you know why I'd have gone with Johnny Marr?
Go on.
Because I think Andrew Marr would have tried to have disarmed you with his wit and his argument, and Johnny just would have hit him with a guitar.
Still think Andrew could have done the on the forehead thing, and even swinging a guitar.
He just thrown his arms, going, come here, our kid.
Does he say our kid?
Well, he's from Manchester.
Of course he does. Of course he does. Yeah.
I'm surprised you had to ask.
I'm sorry. That just shows my ignorance of the. Not only am I ignorant about the Northeast, I'm obviously ignorant about the Northwest as well.
Just a North-South thing, isn't it?
It really is. We haven't done anything on the North-South divide.
No, well, I think we've touched on it throughout the episode, but we need something to finish it on. So, let's have a little talk about the North-South divide and finish on some alienation of different parts of the country.
Let's do it.
I've got a question about the North and the South.
Go on.
Is it genuinely warmer and better weather in the South because you're closer to the equator, or is that just like a myth?
Well, I thought it was a myth, but then in my research, I came across the stat about Newcastle that it is on the same latitude as Copenhagen. It is the coldest city in the whole of the British Isles. However, it is also the driest city because it's in what's known as the Pennine Shadow. So it's cold and it's dry. So I would have to say that it is true. It is colder up north, but it is not wetter up north unless you're out on a Friday night in Newcastle.
Well, I've got some evidence that proves you wrong.
Go on.
I have been out for a night out in London, and people are sensibly dressed with jackets for inclement weather and umbrellas. And if you can't, there's always a store that'll sell you an umbrella for £15 for a £1 umbrella.
And the cocktail umbrellas.
That's them. And I've also been out around Newcastle, and nobody had a coat, and all of the women were wearing lycra. So I think it's genuinely warmer in Newcastle, mate.
Unfortunately, you have, with your argument, proved my point. And when I first went on a family holiday to Florida, it was over.
You wouldn't say to Newcastle.
Not to Newcastle. It was over the Easter break, and the local news station said, "Hey, it's 75 degrees out here. Too cool for us locals. We'll be wrapped up in our jerseys. However, the Brits will be in the ocean." So because you're used to a colder climate, you appreciate the warmth more, whereas we're used to a warmer climate. So we wrap up where you would find it warm.
Well, I'm glad we had a big finish to this week's podcast.
I know. However, what I would like to say is, what is the temperature that you're officially allowed to stop wearing shorts?
Officially allowed to stop wearing shorts?
What level does it have to get down to before you put trousers on a night out?
Oh, no, we wear shorts all the time. There is no temperature. So.
And on that note,